Hey guys, we have a new battery from Sunfun Kits. Now this is their version 4 kit. So the kit will come to you in 3 boxes. The first 2 boxes are your cells. If you order cells, now you can get the kit without the cells. You'll have to provide your own cells. But if you order cells from them, which are automotive grade EV cells. So these aren't some sketchy cells that are coming from AliExpress. These are new, not used, not bloated, grade A, automotive grade cells. So let's open it up and see how well these are packed. There's the bus bars, and there's the cells. These are packed super well. That's 1.5 inch thick foam. Look at this, the corners. There's plastic corners in here, and you can see how important that is because this one's already busted. So that helps protect the corners here. And you can see that if you look at this box, the shipping company, they dropped it on the corner, and that's why it's important. All right, so there we go. Those are all 4 cells. Just gorgeous. No bloating, nice and square, nice and flat. All the information printed on the cells. Everything, all the QR codes intact. Nothing weird with the vents. Nothing, underneath, no liquid underneath that you see a lot of times on these cells that come from AliExpress. Just really top of the line cells here. Let's take a look at the labels on each one. So something really important, whenever you order, say, cells from like AliExpress or some weird sketchy company, they're not doing any kind of matching of your cells. They're gonna grab whatever's on the shelf and they're gonna send it to you, which is probably gonna be like, 3 decent cells. One of them's gonna be pretty crappy, and none of these numbers are gonna match. So whenever you put this thing together and you top balance and you start charging and discharging, and you notice 1 or 2 cells is like peaking up and they're already fully charged while the other ones aren't charged, that's because you've got cells that were not selected to work together in a pack. 321.8. All really, really close in capacity. Let's look at the resistances. 0.16, 0.16, 0.17. These are the different voltages of the internal resistance. 0.16, 0.16, 0.16, 0.17. 0.16, 0.16, 0.17. 0.16, 0.16, 0.17. These cells are really, really matched. Okay, guys, so now that we've looked at the cells, let's take a look at the kit itself. All right, so we got an assembly manual. So you don't got to go hunting around to figure out how to assemble this. It tells you everything you need to do, everything you need to know. So let's see what we got here. Got the same corners that we had in the other boxes. I really like that. These guys really think about all this stuff, which is nice. All right, and that's the lid. And so this is, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Here, let's get this thing out. So this is a new thing that, I think this is an option. This is the, a way to manually control the heaters. The BMS will control the heaters, but this also allows you to do some kind of manual control on it. So we're gonna have to explore that. I'm not exactly sure how to fully use that. I'm guessing all of the parts inside. Yeah. So we're gonna have to open this up to see the parts. Be right back. All right, let's open this guy up. All right, so it looks like they already put the BMS in the holder, and it is going to be a smart BMS. It is made by the same company that makes the JBD BMSs, but this is SunFun-Kit's own specs. So like I said, SunFun-Kit has this company manufacture this BMS to their own specifications. The MOSFETs are more robust. The MOSFETs can handle a higher voltage level, and I think a few other things. But I do love this red and black color scheme here. That is sweet. And I really do actually like the yellow lids. But SunFun-Kits, if you're listening, maybe a red lid would also look really sweet too. But I do like the black lid. It's pretty nice. So. Okay, here we go. All right, so we've got wiring. They send you the kit with all the wiring pre-cut and terminals already installed. Here we have spacers and the heating pads. Oh, look. We have the sticker that goes on the outside, so you do have the option of putting that on if you want to or not. And that's a little tool that you can use to remove the cells. Once you put them in, they're pretty much in, and it's really hard to get them out, so they provide this so you can put it on the cell terminals and put bolts on and pull these out if you want to remove them from the case after you've installed. So that's a handy little tool. All right, guys, so we're going to get to building this battery. All right, guys, so we're going to begin assembling this DIY battery kit. And looking at the manual, you want to start with the side that has the 4 holes on your right side and the one that has the 3 holes on your left side. First cell will be positive here, which will be on this side here on the top. So we're going to take this cell and we're going to attach one of the heating pads. Take one of the heating pads, and if you see here, the heating pad is a little smaller than the cell itself. So I don't think you want it all the way down like this, because then you've got kind of this bulky portion right here that will make it harder to get your cells in. So I think you want that portion to be above the top of the cell. That's where the wire gets connected to the heating pad. So we're going to fix that to the cell with the recommended 2-inch Kapton tape. There we go. Heating pad is fixed to the cell. And then this cell will go in like so. Now, the next step is we'll take the other cell on the very end that would go here and put a heating pad on it. Now when you do this, you want to make sure that you do it on the right side of the polarity. So this is going to be the battery on this very end. So the main negative, I believe, will be here. and then the main positive will be here. So we insert that cell. Now we can put these cells in. So we've got 1 millimeter spacer. Let's see, how many of those do we need? Yeah, okay. So with the in-between heaters, it says we only need to use 1 shim. So I think we need to put that shim on this cell. They want the smooth side facing out. And I really feel like it only needs 1 piece of Kapton. There. Now, I think the difficult part is now getting this cell in, since it's going to be tight. So I think the solution here is that you're supposed to put your fist in here and kind of squeeze, which my hands are way too big for that. There, that might have helped. And maybe we get a corner in. It's definitely very tight. There we go. Now, they're all in. That's very tight, actually. So yeah, you definitely want to verify that they're all in the correct order. Where we've got negative to positive, negative to positive, negative to positive. And that, again, the side with the 4 screw terminal holes have the positive side up like this, and the side with the 3 screw holes has the negative over here. All right, guys, so now that the cells are in, we need to put this piece in. And I was a little incorrect that this was going to be the main positive and this was going to be the main negative. It's actually, this is going to be the main negative and this will be the main positive, as indicated on this bracket here. There's a positive, negative. But I did, in fact, put the cells in the correct location, so we're still fine. So the heater wires go through these little slots here. And there we go. All right, now that that's in, we need to grab a wire from each of the heating pads and twist them together, and we need to terminate them with one of these ring terminals. There's a yellow and a black one, 2 different sizes, so you're supposed to put a larger one and the smaller one on. All right, those 2 are crimped on. And then now we can put on the bus bars. They want you to clean all the terminals and everywhere that there's going to be an electrical connection with isopropyl. And then we're going to clean the bus bars themselves with isopropyl. They want a washer on each. And then you have the blue cable. This is the one that's going to go from the negative to the BMS. And there's a flat way that it's crimped here. And then there's a vertical way that it's crimped here. They want you to put the flat portion on the battery. Then there's the BMS sense wires, and then there is the active balancer wires. They want all these wires to be cleaned, all these terminals to be cleaned with isopropyl, 91%. So the black wire from the BMS will go down as so, and then the black wire for the active balancer will go down. Just going to snug the nuts down. We're going to actually torque them to 6 Newton meters. I may actually do like 5.5. I usually go slightly less. So now we're back to the BMS sense wires. The next one up after the black will be green, and it will go here. And then the green from the active balancer will go here. The yellow from the BMS will go here. And then yellow from the active balancer. And then the blue from the BMS. And then the blue from the active balancer. And then the red positive wire, main positive wire, will go here. And the red wire from the BMS will go here. And the red wire from the active balancer will also go there. Now, one thing that I'm going to do is while I'm working on this battery, I'm going to tape up this positive and this negative because if this touches anything here or anything like that, it's going to be sparks flying like the 4th of July, and we do not want that. All right, safety. All right, guys, so we've got a torque wrench. We're going to set this to about a little less than 6 Newton meters, probably something like that. Perfect. All right, guys. Whew. It is intensely cold today. I got the wires tidied up. You need to kind of have them in this manner where the active balancer wire is on this side, the BMS cable is on this side, and the heater wires are on this side. And they're bundled up close to this bus bar here because this is the section where the active balancer is going to set. So I kind of just zip tied them up. Also, just for extra safety, I'm putting the Kapton tape over these bus bars. Okay, now we put this active balancer plate on. This is the capacitive type active balancer. There's mixed ideas and reviews about this right here. I've used these quite a bit. I even have a video that describes how these work, and I've never had a problem with them. They've been great, so I like them. Here we go. Let's plug this guy in. When you put these in, you don't have to like get it super tight. Just snug it down. That's plenty. All right, now we're gonna put on the BMS and the BMS plate. I feel like we need to do something with these temperature probes. I think on these, I'm just going to probably just gonna tape it to the top of each the cells on the end. So let's just go ahead and this in place. The black terminal of the heating pads goes to the BMS. So this guy's supposed to go here. And this one goes here. And we should be able to plug in the BMS wires. It looks like they run the Bluetooth module over to this side. Use this piece of tape to attach a thermal probe to the top of this cell over here. Do the same on this side. Now all we got to do is attach the wires to the lid. And this thing's pretty much built. This wire also needs to connect to the BMS heater, the heater section here. One last connection, the negative side here. All right, guys, I believe everything's connected, so we should be able to close it up. And then the last thing is to put the handles on. You put it through the rope to the handle, and then into here, and it snaps in the place there. There we go. Wow, what a fun build that was. I love that. Let's check and see if we've got voltage here at our terminals. And we do. We've got 13.20. Excellent. So now let's see if we can connect to the Bluetooth. And there it is, guys. So 13.15 says it's 34% state of charge. That's how it should definitely be shipped to you. These cells should come at around 33, 35% charged. Let's look at the details. There we go, 3.29, 3.29, 3.29, 3.29 on each cell. One thing I really like about their app is you can do it in this landscape mode. Basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to charge this battery up. And to do that, we're going to use the Ardroid 50 amp lithium iron phosphate charger. There we go, the charger is on and charging. Here in the app, we'll be able to see we are pushing 50 amps. So let's look at the main here. So we're missing about 200 amp hours. So at 50 amps, it's going to take approximately 4 hours to fully charge this battery up. When it does, I'll come back. All right, guys, it has completed charging. And one thing I want to show you is, as I was building this battery, one thing that you noticed that I didn't do, I did not put these cells in parallel and charge them up to 3.65 to balance them. With this kit, it's not necessary to do that because, one, you're getting automotive grade cells that are charged to a certain level already when they come to you. They're all matched already, and this has an active balancer. I just built the battery in series, didn't do any parallel or anything like that, and you can see that they're all almost perfectly 3.44, 3.44, 3.44, 3.45. All right, guys, we're all set up to do a discharge test. I've got it running through my shunt, and we're going to use the Leesky inverter and the heater as the load. So let's go ahead and turn it on. All right, looks like we're pulling slightly over 100 amps, 1.31 kilowatts. And we're going to let it roll like that. So that's roughly about a 0.3 C test. And I'll come back whenever the test is completed. All right, guys, we are down to 1% on the capacity test. We're at 298 amp hours. One thing I want to mention, my shunt, there's a glitch. If I set this up for anything over 100 amp hours, like this battery is 300 amp hour battery, this little indicator right here goes all the way down in the beginning of the test for whatever reason, but you can still see the percentage, and everything else works properly. So don't pay attention to that. There's just a glitch in the software for the shunt. We're at 299 amp hours. We got 1 amp hour to go before this thing pulls full capacity. I did actually turn the heater down to a lower setting because over 100 amps, these wires right here are not really good for that, and they were getting a little too warm for my comfort level. So I went ahead and turned it down to the lowest setting, which is around 70 amps. We hit 300 amp hours. Now we're going to continue to let it keep going to see how far it'll go. But meanwhile, let's talk about this kit. You can, like I said, you can get the kit in many different ways. You don't have to buy cells from them, but you can. They have different cells you can choose from. They have 280 amp hour cells. They have the 300 amp hour cells. I think they have a couple different ones to choose from, and there's a couple different prices on those. Every cell that these guys offer is brand new cells. They're not junky cells. All right, so we are at 303 amp hours. I think technically these particular cells are the Eve 304s. So technically I think they are 304 amp hour. So let's make sure we get the 304. I'm certain we are. We actually about to round up. There we go. So 304 amp hours. So that is the actual spec of the cell itself. So we've met that. And I have no doubt about these cells are really good. This is not the first SFK battery I've gotten. The first one was this guy here. That was not the kit. It was a pre-built battery, and it's been so rock solid. It's literally my favorite battery out of all the ones that I've tested. So this new one here, I'm actually going to end up putting it here in series to run with my Victron charge controller. Right now I'm just running 12 volt, but I'm going to put the other one in series, and it'll be 24 volt, and then I'll have roughly 8 kilowatts of battery power here. So where are we at? We're at 305.85. Almost about to hit 306. 310 amp hours, guys. Okay, there we go. Now the inverter's crying, so I'm gonna turn it off. We pulled 310.49 amp hours, 3,906 watt hours. All right, guys, we're gonna start to wrap this up, but I did want to show you one of my favorite features of this battery, and that is the size for the capacity that it has. This one's configured with 304 amp hour cells. Well, look at the size of this battery, and let's look over here. These all equal up to the same capacity as this one battery. So we got a 100 amp hour, a 100 amp hour, a 50 amp hour, and a 50 amp hour. If you were to parallel all these all together, it would equal roughly the same capacity as this one battery. So to me, that is a really awesome feature of this battery. The size, like look at this, and then look at that. And roughly a very similar price, if you were to buy all these batteries for the price at the airing of this video. I think maybe you're somewhere around $100 more for this guy, but you get way more features. None of these have Bluetooth or anything like that, and the size is a lot smaller. There's a couple of other features on this battery that I don't have time to get to in this video, and we'll explore them in a future video. One of them is this button for turning to manually control the heaters. There's a couple different profiles that you can select from, but we'll explore that in a future video. And then there's some features in the app, some real neat features in the app that we'll explore in a future video. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the build. I really enjoyed building this battery. And if you want to look at getting one of these batteries for yourself, one of these kits, or even a pre-built battery, I'll put links down in the description. I have a discount code. It's BMC. I'll put that down in the description. That'll save you 5% if you want to purchase anything from these guys. But that's it for this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.